What's going on, ladies and gents in Cyberland? Coming back to you with another game review, and this time we're on to Mafia. So Mafia, I played, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. I was in college when I played it, and I played it on my computer. And it was something different for me. I had never... I know a lot about the Mafia. I've always found the organization very fascinating for what they accomplished and what they were able to do during, the 1900s all the way up until probably, I'd say, the late 1990s. And I was fascinated by the game, so I was just like, it wasn't on Xbox. There was no Xbox at the time, and it wasn't on PlayStation. It was only PC. So I was like, well, let me check it out. And played it. I was shocked by the ending, but at the same time, not too surprised. And then that was it, Put it away. And moved on to another game or whatever I was playing at the time. And then, of course, this game got remastered, and it got... Well, let me go back. So, 2 came out at some point. Never played it. I just didn't get around to it, and I should have. I just didn't make the time. And then when 3 came out, the trailer for 3 got my attention, and I played 3. And then at some point, creators said they were going to remaster 1, and I was like, ooh, and it's going to be on Xbox and PlayStation. So I was like, I'm gonna get this. When it comes out, I'm gonna get this because I love the original Mafia, and I wanted to see how much different has changed. Of course, I can't say how much has changed or what's different because I don't remember playing on PC. I really only played it once, but nonetheless, the game is... I don't know if I would say it's totally accurate, like what went on during the Prohibition time and such, about, going around with a Tommy gun or other guns and shooting people up and shit. But at the same time, the guy, Tommy, how he became part of this Mafia clique or this organization, and the jobs that he would do didn't seem too far-fetched with how soldiers would actually handle business back then, whether it was taking somebody for a ride, taking a shipment, busting up some people that weren't making payments, or whatever they were told they needed to do, or having to take care of somebody in the family who needs to be disciplined, kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. He, little by little, he kind of moves into the good graces of the boss and the other soldiers, or I don't know if there was a capo. I know there's a consigliere in here, but as far as a capo, I don't know, because there was a lot of soldiers, but you don't really interact with them. You only see them at the the hideout or the place where they all frequent and stuff. As far as the weapons were good. The gameplay was good. The controls were it was a lot smoother, because I do remember when I played it on PC, and I had a good PC at the time when I did play it, but they were just kind of a little funky. So playing it on, and actually I played the original on keyboard, because there was no Xbox yet. Now it's like you play a PC game, you can just plug if you have an Xbox controller, you can just plug it into your PC and play your game that way. All you got to do is just set up the controls. But the game was smooth, and it wasn't too difficult. It had its moments where I got killed a lot, but overall, it wasn't fast-paced. It was very... it was well thought out. The story was well thought out. Overall, It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it gave the vibe of, being a part of this life has serious consequences. Once you get into this world, you don't just get to walk away from it without getting some type of scars or possibly death. As far as the story, it was it felt like a movie, really. Overall, it was very, I can't say Mafia copied really anything from that time period in regards to those who were involved. It just more so had elements of that time period. There wasn't anything I didn't like about the game. I mean, there was one thing that was kind of a pain in the ass. I didn't really care for the racing. I was just like, I didn't really like that. But that doesn't, in my opinion, affect the score of the game. The intelligence of your enemies in the game who you had to deal with, they were pretty intelligent. They didn't act like drones or anything like that. So that was good for the most part. And I like the fact of the weapons that they made sure they did pay attention to detail with the cars, with the weapons, the dress, even the scenery too. The scenery felt like a character everywhere you would drive. The music too, like there was some tunes that I definitely recognized for sure. And my music is more so from the 80s and 90s kind of stuff. I was way before my time with the music that's in here, but I have heard some of these tunes from time to time through different medias and stuff, so it was interesting to hear them in here as well. As far as the characters, for the most part, everybody was pretty well written. I did like the fact that every one of them had a story, but also you could sympathize with a couple of them to some degree. Even Tommy, would you say that what ended up happening to him and what he became, would you say that could have been a lot of people at the time, just because he had some mitigating circumstances? However, he also, he made a choice. He could have done something differently, but would he? The other thing that was interesting is the relationship with his wife. That wasn't. I think the creators, when they worked with him and her, they kind of just wanted to be like, okay, is a relationship to some degree, but that's as far as it goes. We're not going to make it a centerpiece of the story. And I did like that, because when it comes to the mob and it comes to made men and it comes to their wives and stuff, they're not a part of that type of business. They're not involved in that, So it was interesting that, well, not interesting, but it was good that they kind of kept her out of it, as in regards to making sure that, hey, we're going to try to stick to the lore as much as we can about the mob and how they were involved and stuff. So that was good. The difficulty of the game, one thing I got to point out too, wasn't too bad. However, I think my problem, because I got killed a lot in this game, was I was rather impatient. So I would say for any of those watching this, you gotta, if you're gonna play this game, keep in mind that you gotta move fast at times, but you also can't just go running gung-ho, because that's how you'll get get killed really quickly. And then as far as the consistency, it was fine. The weapon choice of weapons, the damage that they could do, they were good. There wasn't particularly anything issue with that either. And the story too. The story didn't drag at all. I thought at one point it would, but every mission, every chapter was well. It flowed really well. I didn't feel at any time when I was playing this game that it was like, oh, I don't want to fucking do this. This is dragging. What is the point? I really was. I was really like glued to the set when I played this game. Like every time I would turn it on and get little by little go through the game, it was a great experience. I was shocked about this though, the motorcycle scene. I was like, when that happened, and I didn't remember doing it the original. I was completely shocked that I was riding a motorcycle in this game. The chases, I wasn't too surprised about. Running from the cops, I wasn't surprised about. But this part was really fun to me, where you're shooting at the guys. They're sticking out the car and stuff. But as you can see, the city and stuff, it was just like, you look at it, and the Brooklyn Bridge, or I don't know if it was called Brooklyn Bridge, but you look at the scenery and you're just like, my God, like, there was parts of New York that look like this, or Chicago per se. And it's just amazing, like, how detailed they were. You could drive down a street and, have a just do whatever you felt like. I didn't shoot people. I didn't kill civilians or anything. I completely, really wanted to get through the game, and I stayed out of a lot of the, violence and stuff of hurting people for the most part. But I was amazed with just how overall the detail of the game was it was so on point. It was just amazing. And, I got my money's worth for it. Gotta say, Mafia was, I think this is where I fucked up too. Mafia was just, it was just a great game. My rating for it, I give it a 10 out of 10 yes sirs. Nothing I didn't like about it. It was just a fun experience. It really was, and I'm glad I took the time to sit down and play this game and record it and share it, because for those who want to look at these videos, they go right ahead and stuff. But for me too, it's something that now, whenever I want to, as long as it doesn't get taken down or something happens with YouTube or my other platforms where I put all the other platforms where I put my videos, it'll always be there. 5 years from now, I can come back and be like, oh yeah, I did do this. I can watch some of my work and just see what I did, and it'll always be there. I would say, it's not Grand Theft Auto. It's not that violent and obnoxious. It's more so. It really has more of a detailed story of the early 19th century. I'm sorry, the early 20th century. And if you are interested in things that the mob were doing, you're kind of part of that environment. Yeah, see, doing the motorcycle thing. If you are interested in that atmosphere and you want to, kind of get an idea of how things were, then yeah, this is a great game to pick up and do, because I played so many games, and I'm only still recording a lot of games now at this point in my life, but this is one of the few, I gotta say, where it was just, it was on point. Everything was on point with the mob, how they operate and how they do business and how they handle their enemies and stuff. It was just a great game. It was a great story, a great cast and everything. So yeah, definitely check it out if you're looking for something that's of that era and something different. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.